Yousef Munayyer is the Executive Director of the US Campaign for Palestinian Rights, and he joins me now live via Skype from Alexandria, Virginia, in the US. Thanks very much for coming on to Al Jazeera. Firstly, I just want to put to you the sorts of justification that the Israeli Defense Forces are saying that led to them using such excessive force. They are saying things like there were a lot of Hamas fighters there, they were threatening the border, and that they were also using weapons. What is your sense of what you've seen and heard as to what was going on in that particular border area?
Well, thank you, Sue. It's good to be with you. Look, it's quite simple. There's no justification for the use of lethal force against anyone who is not presenting an imminent threat to the life or safety of the Israeli soldiers in this case. But what we know is that well ahead of the events, Israeli soldiers, in fact, about 100 snipers, as the Israeli media has reported, were sent down outside of Gaza and given orders to fire upon anyone who even came close to the demarcation there. So the Israeli soldiers were actually given marching orders to use lethal force against people who did not pose a threat. And I think what we've seen in the days and hours since this march began is plenty of video evidence that shows many unarmed individuals being shot by snipers from hundreds of meters away, including many individuals who were killed and hundreds of people who were hit by live fire who were injured as well. So, there really is no justification for this. I understand that the Israelis are trying to smear individual protesters after the fact, but unfortunately, that's just not how international law works. And I think we saw condemnations of this for the international community precisely because of that.
Yeah, and indeed, that is one of the things I wanted to say, that the Israelis are now saying that obviously the protests are going to carry on, that they will carry on using similar force or indeed even more severe force. We are hearing for calls for an independent inquiry. That's unlikely to happen. So what can you now do to build on this condemnation and to try and stop this kind of violence and these killings happening again?
Well, unfortunately, the United States has used its position of influence to prevent any movement at the United Nations, as we saw just the other day when they prevented a United Nations Security Council statement from moving forward in condemnation of these events. However, there has been condemnation internationally from a number of other players. But I think also importantly is that what we saw on the ground the other day in the Gaza Strip was a massive mobilization of people, very well organized and organized under a single flag, a Palestinian flag. And I think this represents for Palestinians a way forward that this might just be the beginning of. And I think that's a prospect that scares the Israelis very much. It's one of the reasons why they attempted to quash it with such overwhelming lethal force from the outset, because they simply do not know how to respond to massive, nonviolent, popular mobilization. And, the Palestinian organizers who were behind this event, if this is the beginning of things to come, it could provide a great deal of leverage for them moving forward, really hitting an Achilles heel for an Israeli state that is very much a Goliath to a Palestinian David.
Sorry to cut you off. We've run out of time. Yousef Munayyer, thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you.